Hey, what's up everyone? How it is going? So today there won't be much of editing, so please bear with me. So I just wanted to come in front of you guys because of the Russia and Ukraine war that has been going on, and the main impact of the cyber community. So how basically we should deal with this all, or even we should predict all of the cyber attacks that a SOC or a security incident response incident analyst should be actually taking care of, right? So I know there are a lot of informations going around in the internet, but it is very much important for us people like me to understand how the thing should be actually understandable and what exactly the step that we should take forward. Okay, so without wasting further time, I'll take you directly to my console to view around what exactly the data that I am going to show you guys. So the first thing we will briefly discuss about the Russian cyber history, APTs, group attacks, etc. We will then focus on the current situation in terms of we will scale in to understand how the actors are working now, what are the things that is relevant for today's industry, and how we should protect them. So that means to our third thing, the action item. Okay, so let's move on to our next thing, the Russian cyber history. Okay, so so I have prepared the slides just like that, so without much wasting time, and I just prepared it to hurry, so not much formatting and stuff like that. Okay, so when I say Russian cyber history, what exactly we mean? So Russia is a large amount of, they are having advanced persistent threat. They have attributed different departments and sections of Russian security intelligence services, then GRU, FSU, who actually uses cyber criminals and hacktivist group, right? So there are a lot of things that we should actually look through, and we should basically tend to cover. Okay, so let me directly show you some websites. So this is a particular website, so I'll leave the link in the description, don't worry about it. So once you go to that particular website, it gives a really detailed information of Russia's cyber operations group. Okay, so if you come here, and it gives very specific details in terms of which APTs or which group could be direct relation with Russian Federation. Okay, so if you see here, so from the top level of it, so President of Russian Federation, then there comes the SVR, which is basically the Foreign Intelligence Service, and they have two dictator operation. Okay, so one is the counter intelligence and one is the active measures. Okay, so in the counter intelligence section, we have Cyber Operations Center. Now if you see some APT 29, then Cozy Bear and Duke, these kind of TTPs or IOCs coming in front of you, so you will definitely know that. So these are the attacks that has been coming directly from the Cyber Operations Center, which is triggering from the president itself, right? So moving on, there is a different section which holds directly to the president, which is the Ministry of Defense. So they have a very powerful Ministry of Defense, and in that general staff, and in that there are 6 directoral service. So we have, there are several other aliases. Okay, so we have APT 28, which has different name as Fancy Bear, Stornium, stuff like that, and we have Sandworm, Voodoo Bear as well, right? So these are the things which operate, we have seen these are the things that has been operated in past as well. Okay, and if we scroll down, so similarly you can just have a look on this particular image, particular website, just to understand what are the different aliases and how these things are different, and you can expect attacks coming from this kind of industries, this kind of TTPs. Okay, it is very important. So do not focus only on defense mechanism only, which is specific of the IOC. So always focus on the TTPs, the techniques, procedures, and then create your defense strategies, right? So otherwise you will be obsolete. So if we move around, so there are another website, so that I want to show you. So it called as APT map netleafy.app. Okay, so this particular website is designed for tracking APT. So let's say if you want to know something about APT 28, okay, so if you just come here, and so this is a sofa C, right? So you can similarly go and you can check similar like apt 29, which we have seen over here, right? If we go back over here, apt 29, which is again named as Cozy Bear, Dukes, stuff like that. So if you click over here, so you will see there are several other synonyms. So this particular website that I showed you, it gives information about the hierarchical architecture of Russian cyber defense and how basically those things operate. But this particular website gives you the full details. So in terms of synonyms, there are probable operating from and which are the suspected the victims. Okay, so you see United States, China, New Zealand, Ukraine, Romania, these are the countries, right? So now if you you will see the description as well. Okay, so now if you want to understand their TTPs, there are references, go to these blogs, understand, gather the IOCs and prepare your architecture in similar way. Okay, so this is a really another like beautiful website. So similarly you can try for other threat actors as well. Okay, so now moving on, my second point is to create a MITRE mapping out of it, right? So when you have understood the first thing, you have seen the different kind of TTPs, different kind of IOCs, different kind of mechanism by which you can be attacked. So it is time for you to prepare your defense strategies. Right now, how you can do that? So you should always leverage your attack MITRE framework that I am gonna show you right now. So if you come here to this particular website, MITRE Attack GitHub IO, so you can simply Google it, right? So you can simply Google as Attack Navigator, and you will have this screen presented to you. Okay, so you should be creating a new layer. So this particular layer that I have created, so this is a combination and the cross line of the APT 2829, Sandstrom Stream, Tarla and Gamma Radon. Okay, so these are the main things of that. Okay, so now if I go to the color coding over here, so you will see that the APT 28 I have color coded as red, the Sandworm team I have color coded as blue. Okay, so you will see that the tactics and techniques over here, APT 29 is purple and Tarla is yellow. Okay, so this is my color coding, right? So you can use any type of color coding what is exactly matching to your need. That's totally up to you, but this is the representation, guys, and this particular thing will help you to map your techniques, map your process and defense mechanism, how you should prepare your defense strategies, right? So let's say phishing for information, so this particular thing can be feasible for other threats as well, right? So this is red, right? So obviously this is coming from the APT 28, right? So you should have a defense mechanism which is covering for phishing information, right? And then moving on like to the other tools and techniques. Now how you can build it, it's pretty simple. As I told you, you will be presented this screen at first, so you go to the create new layer, you can go to more options, or you can directly create from enterprise layer. If you go to here as create, now if you see there is a magnify glass option over here. So you simply hit this particular thing over here, okay, and you just need to search for it. So for example, I will search for APT 28 over here, and now you see there is a threat group coming up. Okay, so if I scroll down, you will see that there are options, and if I just hovering over onto this particular thing, so it is color coding me. Okay, so what I will do, I'll select this particular thing, and if you can see there is a box appeared on the tools and techniques, right? So what I will do, I'll simply color code them, right? So that means these red areas are covering with APT 28. Okay, so now if I want to move with the Sandworm team, so what I will do, I'll deselect the APT 28, I'll select the Sandworm team. Okay, so now I'm not sure if it is visible, but there is another box appeared. So if I again color code it, let's say I'm color coding it as blue. Okay, so now you see the blue are now the Sandworm team particular TTPs. The red one are specific for the APT 28. Now there will be obviously overlapping, so you need to work out that, but this particular thing will give you a really good representation of how basically you should create your attack techniques, you should create your defense mechanism. So let's say if you go to the OS credential dumping, so you can go to this particular area and you see there are things also visible, right? So in OS credential dumping, it is LSAS memory is only representative for the sandworm team, right? So now if you are working on something like the APT28, you should be focusing on NTDS, right? So you shouldn't focus on DC sync on stuff like that, right? So this is the way you should create your defense strategies. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now we have seen how basically the Russian threat actors were active in past. Now it is time for us to look what is the current situation or what is the current threat landscape, how the things are working right now for this particular context. Okay, so we have seen multiple malware families, multiple malware domains and stuff like that. So for first two things, I would highly recommend you to visit this particular thing. So this is a particular report. Again, I will leave the link in the description. So you can just come here and you can see what are the different types of malware families that is currently active now, right? So Black Energy, NotPetya, Whispergate, then Hermetic Whisper. So these two particular things are really active right now, and you will see there are different threat actors. There are what is their indicator of compromise. You can directly use it, and even you can check the IP addresses from here as well. So for IP addresses, I will refer a different one, but anyway, so you can have a look at this as well. And there are also other signatures also available, right? So you can simply use it. So there are nothing else you should be looking into, because there are a lot of information that is currently hovering around the internet. So just log into Twitter, follow the hashtags of the Russia and Ukraine. So most of the things we will see that the political things, the warfare videos, images are flowing around, but you will get a very limited information. Again, you can go to my you can follow me basically on my LinkedIn, because I keep on sharing different threat intel over there, and you can follow me on Twitter as well. So both the handles are in the description. So whenever I upload new things, you will get notified by that. Okay, but this is a very good and really good explained report what I have seen so far. So you should really leverage it to use it. Okay, and talking about the curated threat intel information, so there is a GitHub repository, Ukraine Cyber Operation. So this particular repository is being updated very regularly. Okay, so if you see the last commit is 6 hours ago, and you will see that what are the threat reports that is available, and you can get a lot of information. So you will see that the Gamma Radon, Stockworm, Primitive Bear, so these particular things are currently active in the threat like cyber world, and these particular things are only related to this particular warfare that is currently going on. Okay, and you will see different things also like access brokers, data brokers. So these are basically the hacktivists. Okay, so you will see that if we come here, so CorelDRAW is again a hacktivist. So there are different others, so like Free Civilian. So this particular hacktivist is a real threat, guys. So you should particularly look for this particular hacktivist work, what exactly they are doing. Even in the recent podcast made by Sans, they have also coined this particular Free Civilian. They are currently very much active in the cyber world. Okay, so you just have a look. I won't waste for the time, so just have a look at this particular repository. You will see a lot of information that is going around. Okay, so another good thing about talking about the IP addresses. Okay, so there is a thing, let me pull that resource for you. So Grey Noise is doing a fantastic job. So they are giving you those particular IP addresses which are observed attacking only the Ukraine infrastructure. Okay, so you will get this particular thing. Again, I'll leave the link in the description. So you will in that particular link, that's basically an API link. that particular link will be having this particular file, which is a JSON file, and this particular file will be having different kind of categories of IP addresses. Okay, now if you see, this is a spoofable CSV. Okay, so we can directly go to this link and download this particular CSV. There are simple like Ukrainian CSV, Ukrainian enriched-ation, spoofable enriched-ation files, and block list. So these are really current information. So there is no need for you to look here and there. Just go to the link in the description, download this particular file, pull up all the IP addresses, and prepare your defense mechanism. Okay, so that is very much important right now. So overall, you have got a brief idea. So how many, so there are a lot of threat actors which is active currently in the cyber world. There are information flowing around. There are IP addresses, domains, malware families which are active. So what exactly you need to do right now? So that's come to our action pointers, right? So what action we need to take right now? So if we go back to our slide right now, so let me click on, okay, so what exactly the actions that you need to take. So when you talk about, so you will see there are many posts currently active in social media who are talking about like buying EDR solution, then taking up the patching the vulnerabilities, then build up your ecosystem for the SIM solution and stuff like that. But considering the current threat landscape, it is not always feasible to take all the action right away, because it takes humans amount of pressure, then planning, and you need to be really prepared to take all those steps, right? But what exactly the steps that you need to take right now, so that you can be at least a minimal phase to that, so that you can identify what is exactly going on, right? So in terms of that, what I would recommend you guys to go for, you should really block your high risk protocols. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So when you do any kind of transaction through SSH, SMB, LDAP, RDP, what is you can see in the screen, so you should be either blocking those into your internal network, or you should be having a dedicated VPN from your business to business communication, right? So you should not never ever open this kind of ports open to the internet, because those are vulnerable and people will come, they will simply use the showdown and they will come to exploit you. So remember, never ever open these ports in the internet. Now just go back to your infrastructure, search for these open ports. If you see something open, definitely there would be a justification. Either it could be a demo instance and stuff like that, but if there is any production instance, make sure these are not open to the public. Okay, second step is implement the netflow monitoring. So what do I mean by that? So monitoring system is a real big thing. Now I have worked with several small organization, mid-cap organization who doesn't really have any logging mechanism. So for them it is really difficult and hefty to get a huge amount of logging information at the very beginning. So what you should at least do, monitor your egress point. Okay, so kind of thing you can approach from zero trust model as well, right? Because whatever the traffic going out from your from your network, that can be a real indicator for if there is something wrong. So if there is someone who is trying to put a ransomware into your network as well, they have to talk back to somewhere, right? Either they have to talk to a C2 domain or the attacker domain, something like that, right? So if you monitor your egress traffic, that would be real good thing for you to understand what exactly is going on. So don't if you do not have any logging standard, what I would suggest, at least plan and build this egress monitoring service, which is really very important for you. Okay, third thing, obviously patching. And again, I told you patching is not as I told you, it's not a overnight job, right? So it will come gradually, but have a plan ready. How much you can do that, but have that life cycle going on. Okay, so I won't talk much about that. 4 and 5th point is very important, guys. So plan and test your rapid containment, because consider that anytime whatever the anywhere. So again, go back to the Russian APTs and go and see what are the targets for that. I have shown exactly from where you can identify that, and if you belong to that particular community, particular area of the world, geographical area of the world, if you flow into that particular area, you should be having your plan and rapid response containment ready. What do I mean by that? So you should be having your playbooks at your fingertips. Let's say you consider that you will be definitely being attacked. Now being in defense operations and stuff like that, so you cannot predict always it will be working as your beneficial, so it won't definitely always go to your fruitful, right? So you have to work directly with the organization, understand their risk flow and prepare for the optimal result, right? So that is the reason, prepare your rapid response containment so that you don't hesitate to take a particular action if today there is a ransomware attack on your organization, right? So prepare it, prepare your implementation step, prepare your application control. That is very, very important, because what are the application that you are having into your arsenal or your organization, you should have a proper control around it, right? So you should not use, or you should not let any of the third party application crack into your organization and do that. I know it is not again a overnight job, but you should have at least a plan. So the main feature, what are the main thing what I would recommend: the first point, block high risk port. Second point, implement your net flow monitoring, at least you should do that. And the third almost important thing, prepare your plan of your data destruction, ransomware, have your playbooks ready and keep your organization in up and toe, something like that. Keep educating them, right? It is very important at that point of time, so that people won't frustrate at that point of time because they won't know what exactly to do. Now also remember, at this point of time, while you are sending any kind of communication, be calm and be quiet, because people nowadays become very, very much anxious, and they become afraid. Hey, if there is a ransomware, I do not know what the hell I have done, or what should I do as a next step. So be calm, be patient with there, because everyone doesn't understand cybersecurity, or whoever is working with your organization, right? Have your plan ready, make your people understand what is the risk factor, do the educational process, do the training mapping and stuff like that, and also do reach out to the community, because if you identify some information, if you want to share that, so that reading you or understanding from you, they would also prepare some awesome tactics that you have already breathing in, right? So that's important, and keep sharing the information to the community. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. I don't want to waste further of your time. I hope at least I could have shared some information. I have shared whatever information I have at my hand, and how I basically should approach to a IR folks or a SOC who is basically having this kind of situation and running down this kind of situation. Okay, anyway, so if you want my help, do reach me out through LinkedIn. Anyway, I am very active over there. Comment over this particular video, share it to your community so that others can also learn from your whatever the things that you are doing, right? Yeah, that's all. So I'll catch you guys next time. Stay healthy, stay safe.